I will never be intimidated by America. I will never be intimidated by Donald Trump. They were speaking about me in that meeting at White House. If they were not gossiping about me, they should have called me into that meeting. I would have answered everything that Donald Trump wanted from us. Transport America. If they are not scared of me, call me into that meeting. That nonsense that Trump did in America will never do that nonsense in my presence, because I will confront him here and there with the facts. Ramaphosa could not present the facts in front of Donald Trump. You've got a coward president. He left here. Ariana, he won't be bullied. When he arrived there, he was shaking. Atatazela, Achaba Donald Trump, another president scared of another president.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most explosive political moments in recent South African history. A fiery and unfiltered speech by Julius Malema, leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF. In this powerful address, Malema takes on the might of Western imperialism, calls out the silence and complicity of South African leaders, and fiercely defends the legacy of Black South African resistance. This isn't just political theater, it's a raw, unapologetic challenge to power. From Washington to Johannesburg, Malema pulls no punches as he responds to Donald Trump, condemns President Ramaphosa's diplomacy at the White House, and warns of the creeping influence of global capital. If you thought the EFF was fading, think again. Malema makes it clear. This is not the voice of a dying movement. This is a movement rising. Let's get into it.
Comrades, you were told that this organization is dying and it's a useless organization. And it only took Donald Trump to remind all of you that this is not a small organization. It was Donald Trump who said to Cyril Ramaphosa, you can't say this is a small organization because it is the only organization in South Africa that filled up FNB Stadium. And he said he never saw an empty seat. There were 100,000 people and more at the FNB Stadium. Why would you say yourself, as a fighter and a ground force, that your organization is a dying organization, when the White House says this is the biggest organization in Africa and in South Africa? Comrades, they went to White House to complain about you, that you want your land, that you want jobs, that you want the banks and the mines to be returned into the hands of rightful owners. Batsama bo Cyril ba officing ya principala o kare ke ma teachere a tshwere bana ba banyane a re ko bona people are dying in South Africa. Ramaphosa could not defend South Africa. The whole president of South Africa ia ko America and say in America there is a crime in South Africa. Yes, we know that, but why do you say it in America? Because if you say it in America, they will no longer come to South Africa as tourists. Ramaphosa has killed the tourism of South Africa when he declared crime at the White House. Comrades, it doesn't matter who we are. When we go outside South Africa, especially in front of imperialism, we must close ranks. That Rupert goes and speak bad about his DA in White House in an attempt to impress his masters. We don't like John, we don't like DA, but don't speak bad about them to Trump. Come and speak bad about press. We talk about them here to us in our own country. When we are outside the country, we must close ranks. The same goes to John Steenhuisen, matriculant, who went to White House and said the EFF is a small party That's why we kept it outside government. Today you know that the government of national unity is not to create jobs, is not to deliver roads, is not to build houses. The government of national unity, its work is to block the EFF from coming into power. That is its primary task, and they want to tell Donald Trump. They exist because of their hatred to the EFF. Let's go to Kebo Ace Makashule, Barbabata unity of black people. Amakashule abata unity of black people. Why are formulas Paza Shop says I as a joiner EFF that existed before he formed the Spaza Shop? Unalele kegu kona tala kwa le rebariki Zuma le lebata unity. Reunite Zuma. We will never unite with Zuma, who wants to kill the EFF. Will never unite with MK that exists to destroy the EFF. We are not friends to the enemies of the EFF. Whether Trump says the same thing about the two of us, we don't care. We must never be tempted to unite with the agents who want to destroy the EFF. If Zuma Watla unity of black people, why did he form MK when there was EFF? Because how from a party you are already dividing people. You must join the existing organization that pursues the same agenda, which is the EFF. There is no unity they are talking about. They are pretentious about it. Zuma is about himself and about his family. That's why he went to form that Spaza Shop. Today, Kopi is complaining about Paris. Hi to me today. It's a little milekana kwa Ace Makashule Khale. Ankadinto Adisa ko Paris. Today, Urutlo contest Amo Wat 16. A contest of young because he's the one who brought people from Paris to come and work a year at Kwakwati. He went to fetch the money and make sure that Paris looks like Paris, whereas we are suffering. Comrades, let's go laba tempted to do wrong things. Le misleader ke batho ba ilongor ke bona ba corrupting service delivery. Comrades, we must defend our country against imperialism. The only organization that is hated by imperialists is the EFF. I will never be intimidated by America. I will never be intimidated by Donald Trump. They were speaking about me in that meeting at White House. If they were not gossiping about me, they should have called me into that meeting. I would have answered everything that Donald Trump wanted from us. Banchaba baseba kanna batho ba baholo ka dikhoneng ba tya transport ba ya kwa America ba yo bua ka nna slege. If they are not scared of me, call me into that meeting. That nonsense that Trump did in America, he will never do that nonsense in my presence, because I will confront him here and there with the facts. Ramaphosa could not present the facts in front of Donald Trump. You've got a coward president. He left here. Ariana, he won't be bullied. When he arrived there, he was shaking. Atatazela, Achaba Donald Trump, another president scared of another president. Donald Trump said to him, when you say farmers, you mean white people. He kept quiet. Farmers do not mean white people. They are black farmers. They are white farmers. Ramaphosa is a farmer himself. He should have said to Donald Trump, no, farmers are not white. I'm a farmer myself. I am not white. Why didn't he present that simple fact before Donald Trump? Why didn't he say, there are so many people killed in South Africa, and majority of them are blacks. There is no white genocide. in South Africa. Bammonchatsila with crosses. He opens his eyes in shock. I know South Africa with my eyes closed. He's unable to tell Donald Trump that is not a picture of South Africa. This picture does not belong to us. We don't have mass graves of white people. We don't have mass graves of white people in South Africa. Comrades, Donald Trump says to him, "Hey Ramaphosa, why are you not arresting this Julius Malema? Why is this Julius Malema not in jail?" He can't respond with a simple fact that this song, "Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer," was approved by the Constitutional Court. We are a constitutional democracy. We must defend the decisions of the court. He failed to defend the Constitutional Court. By failing to defend the Constitutional Court, it means he failed to protect the Constitution. And when you fail to protect the Constitution as a president of the country, you have failed in your primary duty of defending the sovereignty of South Africa. Ramaphosa is a failure, but you must understand one thing. When Trump says, "Why is this man not in jail? Why is this man not arrested?" he simply means, why is this man not dead? Why are you not killing this man who wants to kill for white people? In that White House, my ticket was taken out. They called for my life with an attempt to silence me. They will never kill me again because where I am dead. Because black people are dead. Black people have got no dignity. Black people have got no human rights. Black people cannot determine their own destination. They are waiting on the white supremacists to tell them which direction to take. What is this life we are living of being cowards? I'm not going to be silenced by threat of violence. I'm not going to be silenced by threat of death. When you say don't jail him, Ramaphosa should have said, in South Africa we don't jail people like that. There are courts in South Africa, and the courts have said there is nothing wrong with this song. This is not my song. I did not compose this song. I found this song. The struggle heroes composed this song. All I'm doing is to defend the legacy of our struggle. This is a heritage of our struggle. This is the song that was sung by Peter Mokaba in the presence of Chris Hani, in the presence of Winnie Mandela. And therefore, I will never stop singing a song that Winnie Mandela sang before she died. That will be a betrayal to the struggle of our people. Comrades, when they say stop singing, "Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer," they are going to say to you, stop demanding the land. Because you are offending white people. Don't talk about the land. When you stop the land, they say black people must go back to Bantu education. There must be African schools. When you say no, they say no, that is not allowed. Today, a tender is given in White House without advertisement, where Rupert stands up and says, why is Elon Musk Starlink not given an opportunity in South Africa? Elon Musk's business cannot come to South Africa if it's not compliant with 30% BEE. What he did, Ramaphosa, after they asked him that, the following day, they issue out that they want to relax the BEE deals so that this Starlink can come into South Africa. There is no such a law in South Africa. That Starlink will not come into South Africa if it's not compliant with the BEE. We are not saying 30% must go to one individual. That 30% must go to black people, as many as possible, because we want to benefit from our own economy. Comrades, we must never be dictated to by business. I long told you, South Africa, that we are captured by Ruperts, that our country is run by Ruperts. How can a minister of international relations sit in a meeting? Oh, Nata Malema. Mara no is a good boy. Is a ubeta ke lekgowa ko leetle nna o ka se mpete lekgowa a ke re wena. What is your problem? The whole Minister of International Relations goes and sits in a meeting that deals with international issues outside the country and never uttered a word. But businessmen, the golf players are speaking, but you, the politician, who's supposed to speak on those matters, you are quiet. Why do you still want to earn a salary after being quiet? Why can't we give this salary to those white people? Because they are the ones who are speaking there. All white people who were in that house from South Africa, all of them spoke. All of them, including John Steenhuisen. What gave them the ticket to speak on behalf of our country? It was their color. Only the color of their skin is the one that gave them permission to speak at the White House. Lamula was there. Kumbuzo was even worse. So why should we allow that?
This isn't just a speech, it's a battle cry, a fierce rejection of imperialism and a call to reclaim Africa's voice on its own terms. Malema begins by slamming those who've claimed the EFF is a dying organization. He reminds his followers that even US President Donald Trump acknowledged the power of the EFF after seeing a packed 100,000-strong rally at FNB Stadium. So, how can this be a weak party, he asks, if even the White House is watching? He calls out South African President Cyril Ramaphosa for airing the country's dirty laundry in Washington instead of defending South Africa's image. Malema argues that by telling Trump about high crime rates, Ramaphosa damaged tourism and acted more like a servant to imperial powers than a defender of national pride. Malema doesn't stop there. He attacks opposition figures like John Steenhuisen and former President Jacob Zuma. He accuses them of hypocrisy, claiming to want black unity while working behind the scenes to block the EFF's rise. According to Malema, the so-called government of national unity is not about progress but about preventing the EFF from gaining real power. He blasts the presence of South African politicians in US meetings where they remained silent while white business elites dictated terms. He questions why ministers were even there if they couldn't speak up for their people. To him, this was a betrayal, a moment when whiteness became the currency of credibility. Most explosive was his defense of the controversial "Kill the Boer" song, which he says isn't about hate but history. A song rooted in struggle, approved by South Africa's courts and sung by heroes like Peter Mokaba and Winnie Mandela. To stop singing it, he says, would be to betray the legacy of the liberation struggle. He ends by attacking the influence of white capital, particularly Johann Rupert, and accuses Ramaphosa of bending South Africa's laws to make room for foreign billionaires like Elon Musk. He demands that any company coming into South Africa comply with black economic empowerment laws or stay out. This was more than a political rally, it was a declaration of resistance. It was Malema standing tall and saying, black voices will not be silenced, not by Trump, not by Ramaphosa, and not by global capital.